citizens of the internet. My name is Robert Simmons V, better known as CWCki Fan 1985. The reason I am talking is I want to talk about my fan, a hero, CWCki. I also want to talk about China and Dice, because few people make fun of him when he was saying that though. But see, Chris Chandler is a good Christian. He said China because he talked about vagina, okay? But see, he's a good person, didn't want to say that, because it's a nasty, dirty word, okay? Dr. Kinsey talked about that. So, I want you to know, he said vagina, you dumb dorks, you were bot jerks. And if you ever try to hurt him again, I will crush you with my powers of the internet.
Hello everybody, Dylan here. Now, today we are going to be doing a quickie discussion. Robert Simmons V. Robert Simmons V was born 1985, aka CWCki 1985, Solidus Chris. Solidus Chris is a nickname that he goes by. Was an anti-troll. For those of you guys who don't know, an anti-troll is someone who will partake in trolling activities and hang out with trolls, but he's actually trying to mess with the trolls. He's messing with the trolls and trying to bother them while also participating in their trolling activities. Who befriended Christian Weston Chandler on YouTube in 2008 and 2009. He put on his act copying Aspie traits with a CWCki medallion of his own. Really just a classic Sonic colored yellow with no CWCki tail. Talked in a loud monotone voice, liked Sailor Moon, and very kindly wished that Christian Weston Chandler would also have Sailor Moon for a daughter, and performed a song he wrote for Chris Chan, complete with a sequence in which he heroically smote to death ED and the Robotnik jerks, which I don't know what Robotnik jerks are. What the fuck is that? Let's take a look at what oh, I guess it's another name for jerk op. I guess that's his name for jerk ops. The events that took place in Robert Simmons' life also coincided with Christian's life, from account hacking to getting his medallion taken. Robert Simmons seemed to have a slightly disturbed relationship with his sinister cousin, Andrew Simmons I. And if we look at Robert Simmons and pay attention to what he actually did as trolling, we can see that he's actually a precursor for Liquid Chris. And it's funny because one of the names he went by was Solidus Chris. Chances are some of the trolls that were involved in this decided to recycle this into the Liquid Chris arc. So when I do inevitably talk about Liquid Chris for the trolling stuff, just know I'll be talking about very similar things that this guy is doing. Who is not a good actor that seems to parallel Chris's own femdom / male sub kink. Robert Simmons V also appeared in CWCki issue 7 in the radio interview with Jiggly Ami. By the 21st of February 2009, Robert Simmons V had taken down all of his videos and changed his profile to announce, "I decided to remove all of my videos because I have come to the realization that Mr. Christian Weston Chandler is a horrible person. It took me a while to understand that Encyclopedia Dramatica did not slander Chris, but rather was telling the truth. From lying to his fans about Nintendo deal to all of his perverted ways. I cannot bring myself to be a fan of his comics anymore. Not to mention, he doesn't bother to update anymore. My only regret in this whole ordeal is that I wasted my time trying to defend such a self-centered, arrogant, sexist, homophobic asshole." Wow, that's a very modern day feminist talking point, but whatever. "As my cousin said it himself about Chris, what a selfish cow. Bottom line, lose some fucking weight, god damn it." Robert later claimed that these were not actually his true and honest words, but rather those of Clyde Cash, who hacked into his account, and he actually did work with Clyde Cash behind the scenes, so that's probably why he said that. Church visit, and apparently there's more of this, and that's the church audio. I might play some of that at the end of the video. I don't know. I'll play a couple of videos so you'll understand who this guy is. On the 15th of March 2009, days before the Emily date, I don't know if I did a video on that yet, Robert and another troll drove to Chris's church uninvited. Robert goes up to Chris while the other troll remains in the background, introducing himself with, "Hi, I'm Robert." Chris recognizes him and they start talking. Robert accompanies Chris to church. Highlights from the audio includes trolls, Chris's sweetheart search, Family Guy, and homosexuality. Now, the funny thing is, when he met Chris in the church, he didn't actually use his Robert voice. Usually when he would do his videos, he had a weird voice that he would do to try to sound like Chris Chan. But when he met Chris in church, he talked normally, and Chris didn't seem to notice this at all, and just was perfectly fine with it. And he ended up talking to Chris's dad more than anything. He didn't really even talk to Chris too much. So if you decide to listen to the full audio, it'll be a lot of him talking to Bob. And this is Robert's appearance in the comics, and it says Robert Simmons V appears in Sonichu 9, as does Blaze Bob Sonichu, who was inspired by Robert. Oh, I didn't know that Blaze Bob was inspired by him. That's one of Panda Halo's creations. I don't remember if it is. But yeah, this is what he looked like in the Sonichu comics. And I want to look at this second one because I think he has a katana. He does. He has a fucking katana. Way to make him a giant fucking neckbeard, Chris. And that was everything on Robert Simmons V. Hopefully you guys learned something today. If you learned something, then hit that like button. If you really like this video, then share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.
I actually, I think that, people might be pissed when they're hearing this shit because, I actually talked more to Bob because he was interesting as fuck, though, and, telling me about, the Commodore 64 and how apparently, before fucking Chris could speak, he was playing video games, though. Yeah. And how, according to him, 124 levels trying to get to Koopa, and he talked about Yoshi's Island. Dude, you're talking about fucking 4 different games, dumbass, but whatever. He's old. Yeah, I do the same thing with my grandma. Whatever, Grandma. Yeah, Japan's awesome, right?